What is going on, guys? It is Ahmed and I am back today to give you guys my final SPAC picks of 2020. So the year is coming to an end next week. Friday is New Year's Day. So we know with a new year comes a lot of new opportunities for all of us that are new to the market. Like myself, 2020 was a big year. We saw a lot of success and I'm very happy to say, and I thank you all for all the support that you have been giving my channel. I've really been enjoying making these videos. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So the first SPAC that I'm looking forward to for next week is GIK, it's a ticker symbol, GIK Capital 3, that is going to be merging with Lightning eMotors. They have a definitive agreement set for Q1 of 2021, between January and March, that means. So just looking at the price action, ever since it was mentioned on the channel, we kind of talked about it around the $10.80 to $11 range, and we've seen, a pretty decent run up. So from its all-time high up 38%, at 1523, we saw a little bit of a pullback because again, it's still only the merge the date isn't set yet, but again, we are anticipating it in Q1 of 2021. So I will talk about two other SPACs after I speak about this one. And if you want to stick around, I will have one bonus stock that I want to talk about that I'm keeping on my radar for next week. So again, we did see from its all-time high at around the 1510 mark, we have seen a little bit of a pullback, about 6% before market close yesterday on Christmas Eve. And after hours, we're seeing a little bit of volatility, of course, because again, no merger date has been set, and it's again anticipated to be merging Q1. So where does that put us? For anyone that has not opened a position in GIK Capital 3 or Lightning eMotors, first do your research. I have a video about Lightning eMotors. Again, I just kind of talk about it very slightly, but if you want to do research, again, it's a company that is looking to electrify non-electric vehicles and is trying to tap into the EV space. So I see a lot of potential in this company. They do have already made products. They already have contracts in place. So again, please keep your eye on GIK Capital 3. If you haven't started a position with the slight pullback of 6%, I'd say that's a potential buying opportunity. Again, I'm not a financial advisor by any means, but what am I going to be doing? My cost basis for this one is actually 1080. So for me, I'm very comfortable where it's at. But if I can increase my position size, if I see any more of a pullback next week in the 13 range, upper 12s, I'll go ahead and start another position. But again, something I'm very excited about for this coming week because I do see that there's a lot of potential for this company. Now, second, THCB or Tuscan Holdings merging with Microvast, same idea as GIK, except the most interesting thing about THCB is that there is no definitive agreement in place yet. So Microvast is a great company. Again, it is in the battery space of EVs, and I've talked about it in a lot more detail in a previous video. But as we've seen, there's just been ridiculous volatility with THCB and a really big spike in the price. So like all SPACs, it was around the $10, $11 range, and then we saw a spike up to $17.20, which excited a lot of us. People took profits as they should because, again, no DAs in place. Came back to around the $13, $14 range and kind of consolidated there. So now we know that there's resistance and there's a support level at that $13.50 range, which, what's that tell me? If it ever falls back down, out of the $18 range, 17, 16, 15, 14, that's a huge buying opportunity. Anywhere around the 13.50 range, great strike point. So again, going back up, we saw it all the way up at 18.79. And again, if I go to the 1 day, I think it actually peaked around the $20 mark. So we've seen pretty high spikes with Tuscan Holdings because again, there's anticipation of the DA coming through, which is going to be, like all SPACs, there's catalysts that come to place. And we see things, if the DA is set, boom, we're going to probably see another $7, $8 spike in the price. And then once the merger date is set, another few dollar price. And again, for me, Tuscan Holdings is a $50, $60, $70, $100, $150 play for the long term. Because again, they are the ones who are going to be in the battery space. We're going to need fast charging batteries, and Microvast already has this product developed. So again, we're going to see a lot of adoption from these bigger EV companies that are in need for very solid batteries like Microvast. And third, last but not least, for the SPACs that I want you all to have on your radar for this week, and then I'll move on to the final stock that I mentioned, the bonus stock, that is LOAK, Live Oak Acquisition Corp. They are a company that we're merging with, again, a biodegradable plastics company that I talked about in a previous video, and that is Danimer Scientific. So we are going to see the merger actually happen on Monday. So what happens typically when a SPAC merges? We see a lot of volatility, but we do see a hike in price typically from, again, with 2020 being the biggest SPAC year that we have seen in history, because again, we are trying to democratize the trading space to allow people to buy into companies before they go public. Because with IPOs, again, the big investors, not like us little guys, get to put in their money, invest, and be part of the IPO before it ever goes public. With SPACs, it's the same idea that allows us little guys or retail investors to put in our own money before a merger date if we are long on a company or if we believe in their fundamentals and their values. So again, LOAK. Please keep this one on your radar. Watch my previous video, the last video that I will link in the description, and I'll keep it in the end of this video, as I always do. But again, keep this one on your radar because I do see that this price, again, at $22, some might say it's double the SPAC price. Sure it is. But I think, again, I could see it doubling, tripling, God knows where. But again, this really is a very, very solid company. So keep it on your radar. And last but not least, one stock that I have for you all as a bonus is FuboTV. Guys, I am very, very happy and excited about this pullback. So I mentioned this one around the $39 mark a week from today. Previously, it was at $39.39. In the aftermarket, maybe spiked up to about $40. We saw a run up last week all the way to $62.15, a 50% increase and 57% increase in price. Since then, thankfully, we saw it just tumble down because people took their profits, they doubled their money, they tripled their money. It was a SPAC, quadrupled, 5x'd, 6x'd their money, and they were very happy with that. So guess what? They're going to sell off. But again, when it comes to companies pulling back, if they don't have any fundamental issues, no news about, no negative news surrounding the company, then there's no reason for us to kind of say, okay, this is now a stock that I have to sell and I need to freak out and panic sell. Absolutely not. Never panic sell, because that's how people want us to panic sell, especially the ones who have a lot of money invested in these companies, because that's how they pounce. They'll take the opportunity, they'll see these red days, and then they'll buy even more. So again, what am I going to do? As always, as I mentioned, it's at $41.80 now in the aftermarket. That is a beautiful price to me. From its all-time high, we're looking at, again, 30-40% decrease in price. And for long-term, because again, I still see FuboTV as a long-term hold, I'm going to increase my position size. Full disclosure, after I made my previous video, I didn't end up buying because the price spiked in the pre-market on Monday of this week. But again, I ended up buying after I saw the initial dip, and I think it was maybe under $45 mark, 46, and I'm seeing even more of a pullback. And as I always say, average down. Don't ever put in all your chips right at the beginning of a sell-off. Rather, buy, find a price target that you're willing to buy at, and then average down from there. So it's time for me to average down to $41. That's another $5 decrease, or again, maybe 10-15% drop in price additionally to what I previously bought at. So I'll average down, and we're going to see the price hopefully climb back up. But if you're long-term on this play, again, if it's like any similar companies in this space, we can see things like 3xing, 4xing, 5xing in price. So guys, please keep this one on your radar. FuboTV, happy holidays, happy new year to everybody. Again, 2021 is going to come with a lot of excitement. Shift in presidency, we're going to see shift in, priorities, especially in the EV space. We're going to see shift in priorities in the renewable energy space. All the things I've been talking about on the channel. So I hope you guys are all enjoying the journey and following the ride. And as always, until next time, keep investing.